Welcome to another episode of the Sippin and Trippin Podcast, where we connect with amazing people. I am your host, Desmond Black, and today we got a very, very special guest by the name of Veronica Vidana. How you doing today?
I'm wonderful. I'm
Wonderful.
excited about being on here.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I appreciate you. It's an honor, privilege, and a pleasure to have you on today. Um, so before we get started, tell the viewers a little bit about your podcast and what made you want to start a podcast and things of that nature.
Well, as mentioned, I am the founder of Unapologetically Me and also the founder of Unapologetically Pink. And these two foundations or organizations have given me the opportunity to connect with people on two different levels. For instance, Unapologetically Me enables me to reach out to people who are just imperfect, people who've had struggles in their life, and they can range from something so minor as a job change in your 40s or something as serious as mental health, just anything that you've experienced in your life and that you've just come to terms to accept, and you realize that having gone through those things, it's enabled you to be the person whom you are today, and you're just unapologetic for the choices that you've made in life, and you just embrace who you are. And in Apologetically Pink, I created this organization to be able to build rapport and connect to other breast cancer survivors.
Okay. So you said breast cancer. So we
Yes.
spoke before. So you are a breast cancer survivor yourself, correct?
Correct. Yes. I
Okay.
had breast cancer in both of my breasts. So
Okay. All right. So we'll circle back to that in a minute, right? Like so where were you born in? Like where did you grow up?
okay, well, a lot of people aren't going to know where this is at, but I was born in Alpine. It's a small town in Texas. It's like West Texas, close to like Big Bend. So there, and then I grew up in Bridgeport, which is another small town. We have a lake, and it's very conservative small town. But then as I got older, I moved to Dallas, and it's just allowed me to socialize with so many diverse people and to build relationships and just kind of grow.
Okay. So you always lived in Texas,
I
or have
have,
you lived?
no, always
Interesting.
Texas girl
Yeah,
here.
interesting. That's definitely on my bucket list. Like like 2 years ago, I said, forget about all the states I've ever been in my life. I wanted to start over. I said, I want to I want to make 2 trips a year to 2 different states until I touch down in every state, right? And so 2 years ago, I went to Rhode Island and I went to Connecticut. Last year, I wasn't fortunate enough to have the time off from work to do anything. So I got to bounce back this year and I'm going to choose 2 different states. And for some reason, I'm set on Tennessee as one of them.
Mhm.
And my older brother just recently went to Texas. He went to San Antonio and he came back with the stories. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe Texas. And this one guy I had as a guest on my show recently by the name of DeMarcus. He lived in Texas, and he was telling me how it's great out there. So I'm like, do I take that trip to Texas too? I don't know. It's just so many different places, right? Like, because at first I was like, let me just stick to what's closer to New Jersey because it's easier to commute and stuff, right?
Mhm.
But I just found out like 2 months ago about this Turo,
Mhm.
rent a car, and it's not expensive. So I'm like, if
Yeah,
I catch a flight somewhere and I could get a car through Turo, it's
yeah.
not bad. It's like $30 a day. I can do that if I stay for a whole week. 'Cause that's my goal. I want to stay for like a whole week wherever I go. So it's like that's not bad. $30 for 7 days. I can do that hands down. So it's just a lot of things. He just,
Texas,
by the way,
it's like
he said
it should
Texas.
not even be
Texas is where
negotiable.
it's at. Yeah.
Yeah, like absolutely. You come to Texas and we have, you know that everything's bigger in Texas. It's true. Everything is bigger here. And we have
Oh
so
shit.
much diversity. So it's like you go to San Antonio, you get a lot of the like Hispanic people, just everything. And you go to West Texas, you got, you have the desert and the mountains and you have all that.
Right.
Then you go to South Texas, you have the beach. I mean, it's not beautiful,
Right.
but there's a beach, we are so big. And you can get from like Texas to California in the same amount of time. You can go from one end of Texas to the other end of Texas. So.
Right. So you know what? You're a good salesman right now, because like right because like I think I'm set on Tennessee, but the second state for this year, I got to sleep on it a little bit. But like Texas is a big one for me. I don't know why, but Ohio is a big one for me. Um, like I said, I've been to 15 states, but like I said, I'm a disregard that, and I started over. So right now, like I would say Ohio, I would say Texas. I don't know. Those are the two top ones right now. You know what I mean? Maybe Chicago, or not Chicago, Illinois.
I like Chicago.
You say you like Chicago? You been to
I
Chicago?
do. I have. I've
Okay.
been to Chicago. Florida's always nice. California.
See, I forgot about Florida. Yeah, I've never been to Florida, and a lot of people say, how you been to 15 states? You've never been to Florida. So
yeah, how is that possible?
yeah. Oh yeah, Florida's definitely one. So all right, so Florida's, yeah. Which one did you say? You said Cali. Yeah. You said
it's like
when I did go to Cali, I was not impressed. I was impressed for like.
See, that's me. I was a little disappointed. I was expecting so much more to just be like, okay.
I was entertained for like 15 minutes, because for me, people that love California, they're gamblers, right? Like, or Vegas or California. It's like, I don't know, because I've been to Vegas too, and I was just like, I don't really gamble, so I was like, Then I went to Cali, and I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I only spent like a day in Cali though. But I spent 5 days in Vegas. But like I said, it was different for me, maybe because I'm from New Jersey. I'm on the East Coast, but like to go out west, it was just like, but I heard so many things about like Texas, and I'm like, well, Texas touches California, so how's it different? But everybody I talked to said it's a big difference. So my older brother said the food in Texas is better than over here, and I'm like, no way.
But there's like the real authentic Mexican food. Then there's like Tex-Mex. Then you have like all the other cultures. And I'm a big foodie, so I love the diversity of all the different locations and food varieties. Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because like I said, I'm a foodie. I love food. I cook. I'm a chef, and I am looking to have my food truck this year. Like I bought a truck last year. I bought majority of the equipment, but I still got to get it built up. I got to get the plumbing. I got to get the gas line put in, the electric and all that stuff. So that's happening within the next couple of months. So I'm excited about that. So I am definitely a foodie myself. And when people tell me, oh, this state or this country or whatever have this food, I'm all for it. And my older brother, he did tell me like it's so much authentic food in Texas, and that's why when I wake up, I'm like, dang, maybe I should go to Texas. But again, it's something I have to spend time on.
You're gonna end up wanting to move here. You're gonna be like, okay, I'm sold. Let's move the family.
And that's the thing. If it comes to that, I'm okay with it. What did he say? I have never been to Florida either. Let him know, Veronica, about the food.
Oh yeah, I know. He's missing out.
So like I said, hey, and you know what? Right now, like I said, everything's so to change. But right now, I'm gonna say Tennessee and Texas. Right now, I'm gonna put it out there. That's my goal for this year. Speaking about Texas, all right. So since I said that's a strong possibility, what's the best time of the year to go to Texas? What'd you say?
Anytime. It just depends where you're going to go visit.
Okay. What's your recommendation?
I'm
going to write this down as you said.
Okay. I think.
You said summer?
For me, no, don't come summer.
Oh, don't come summer. Okay.
No, I don't know how your weather is, but Texas, when they say we have everything, it's true. Like we could be sunny one day and 5 minutes later we could be like raining and cold, and it's like 30-degree difference. It's so crazy. It really is. But I think sometime in the spring or in the fall.
Okay, spring or fall. I'm put that down.
Just because
Spring.
they have like such nice weather, and you can explore a lot more during that time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. I think I'm sold. I think
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
have
do
to
Tennessee and
a long list. I'm like, okay, check out San Antonio, Austin. You're gonna have to check out Dallas and the DFW area. Then you're gonna have to check out West Texas, and there's
so.
like
But this is it.
so much.
What's the thing? I'm only planning on staying like a week, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, are they? Is it far? Is
They're
the commute far from
like for
one from?
Dallas to El Paso area, like the West Texas area. It's easily like 8 hours, 7-8 hours drive.
So,
I
all
told you
right.
Texas
So
is big.
all right. So give me a general area to come to, and that's what I will focus on. Because if it's like 8 hours, I can't do
Okay,
that.
go
'cause-
to Austin, go to Dallas, because if you're in the
Okay,
DFW area, you have access to like Dallas and Fort Worth. And then if you do want
Okay.
to check out Austin, it's only 3 hours.
Okay, that's not too bad. So
No.
so you said Dallas and Austin.
Yes,
All right, I just
because you
wrote
get a
that
little bit
down.
of everything. And if you're a foodie,
Okay.
there's like tons of places to check out, tons of food.
Okay. Now, are you bilingual or what
I am.
language do you speak?
I
What do
speak
you speak?
Spanish.
Oh, Spanish too?
I
Or
do.
you have Spanish in you, or is it something you just picked up?
No, I have Spanish in me. I have a little bit of everything, apparently. Yeah.
Somebody just commented. It says, "Go to Houston. The food scene is crazy."
Okay, so I'm going to admit this, Rodney. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I have never even been to Houston. It is one of those places that I'm just not, I don't know. I'm just not, it doesn't call my attention. I'm just like, no, thank you. The traffic is madness.
In Houston, yeah, that's how I feel out here. So, like out here, like I'm in New Jersey, and some people, what do you say? I have been to Houston a few times. How do you like it, DeMarcus? You like Houston? Out here, like in Jersey, some people say we drive crazy, but like I think we drive normal. Because when you go to like Philly's crazy. When you go to New York is crazy. And I hate going to Philadelphia and I hate going to New York because they drive like they ain't got no sense.
See, I had to get a taxi when I was in Jersey and when I was in New York because I was like, I can drive everywhere. I've driven everywhere, but those two places, I'm like, no thanks. I'll just pay a taxi.
Yeah. And that's crazy. A lot of people in New York, they have a license, but they don't own a car because that's the thing in New York. It's like, why drive? Like it's traffic and it's like, it's a lot of headache and everybody just really just use a taxi or the bus. And it's just the lay of the land out there. So, all right. Right now I'm going to say, I think I'm gonna go with
Texas is hands down, definitely.
And Tennessee. You got me sold. So I'm gonna go to Texas and I'm gonna go to Tennessee. I don't know why I want to go to Tennessee. It's just I don't know. It's just somewhere in my mind. I'm like, go there.
I think it'd be fun.
Now this is my brother. He says he work in New York City. I mean, my brother is a chef. He's a chef. He works for the West End. So he got a lot of little catering events that he do. He also has his own podcast called What's Cooking. He is more of a spiritual based, if you into that kind of thing. Like he talks about God and marriage a lot. I'm a little bit different. I've always said I'm not religious, but that is something that as I get older, I feel like I'm moving more towards. I don't know if I get there, but it seems like I'm going more towards that because I've been blessed a lot. And speaking to people that is religious, I'm like, when I speak to them, they might give me words of encouragement or they might give me guidance. And when I take heed to what they say, right, and I apply it to my life, I have gotten good fortunes as of late. And I'm like, well, that must be godly. You know what I'm saying? So it's those instances that make me want to convert. But that's a big step. I'm not there yet. I am working towards that.
Yeah.
So what are some of your accomplishments, highlights, and accolades in life?
Okay, well, there's a lot. No, I'm kidding. I'm just very versatile in general. I'm a mom of 3. So
Okay.
that's like my biggest accomplishment. I have my daughter is 21. My
Mm.
eldest is 21. And my second one, she'll be 17 next month. And then I have a 12-year-old son. So 2 girls and a boy. Um, I've I've worked in special ed for many, many years. It's really, I don't know, it gives me a lot of hope, I guess, just being able to reach out and help those kids, because some of them, obviously, some of them just have things that they have to work through. And so I just like being able to help them. And so I did that for many years. And then from there, I just went on to real estate. And then now I'm just kind of doing some real estate. And then I'm also working on branding my next couple of projects for
Right.
Unapologetically Me and Unapologetically Pink.
Right. All right. So so when you say real estate, how is life in the real estate business? Because I've
Competitive.
spoken to a couple people. Some people say it's very hard. Some people say it's easy. Some people say it's just up and down. What's
It is
your
up and
thoughts on that?
down. I think it depends if you're going to be in commercial or residential. I do a little bit of both. I do consulting with investing companies for commercial, but I also invest in and buy, properties. So that's for residential. So it really depends. Like I have times where I'm not really looking, and I've been very fortunate, and I've had opportunities just come to me. Like people are just like, hey, are you interested in purchasing this house? And it's like, yeah, sure. So I've had
Right.
some of those opportunities, which I'm like, thank God, but then there's been times where I have to work a little bit harder, and I am just dedicated to this for a while. And then I finally close on something. So it's not something that you could just, unless you're willing to spend a lot of time in there, you can't just completely throw yourself in if you don't have some kind of a cushion or something.
Right. All right. So
Mhm.
yeah, I can see the difficulties in that. So do you have any siblings?
I have one sister who is 6 years younger than I am.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Y'all talk much or no?
Well, we're like best friends. We talk every single day or text every single day.
That's that's
So,
that's that's great. I am a family oriented type of person. The family that's willing to be there for you, it's amazing. It's powerful. It's real good. You know what I'm saying? Like
mhm.
being able to reach out, and when a person don't feel like they have anybody else to talk to, when they can call on a family member that's there for them, that is powerful. And it's heartwarming. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's great that you talk to your sister as much as possible, right? He said this man consistent. Yeah, I try. Will. um, so yeah, that's great. So one sister, man. I have 4 brothers, no sisters.
Oh,
You know what I'm
wow.
saying? Yeah, 4 brothers.
But that was a
Eh,
loud house,
eh,
huh?
Well, I I don't
Your
think
poor
we all
mom.
lived in the same household at one point. Like it's some people have
Yeah.
their own traumas and situations. So we had our little situations in life where
Mhm.
we wasn't in the same household. But that's another story. Um so okay, so I was gonna ask you what you do for a living, but like you mentioned real estate. So you do real estate. Is it anything else you do other than real estate? I know you're trying to, you do the unapologetically me, the
Yeah.
unapologetically pink. As far
I
as like work, like anything other than real estate?
No, this is really all I do. Like I said, I have to pour myself into this, branding, like this building this company, because I'm not just working on it from a podcast perspective. I'm doing branding to create like my merchandise, and then I'm having some speaking conferences, and then I'm just collaborating with other people, and also working on having a couple of programs where I want to do some outreach into the community as well. And I homeschool also. So
Oh, you homeschool? Okay,
I
okay,
do.
yeah. That's good. You know, you mentioned how you wanted to connect with the kids and you wanted to do something for people. You know, it's crazy. Like at a young age, where my mind should have been elsewhere. That's something
Mhm.
I always wanted to do myself. I always said, you know, I want to be like a public speaker. I wanted to educate. I wanted to help people that wasn't fortunate. I wanted to uplift people. And you know, a lot of that came from, you know, me growing up in a broken home and me wanting love that I didn't feel like I was getting at that time, right? You know, or whatever neglect I felt growing up. These are the reasons why I say, you know, when I get older, I'm going to help people in need, the people that feel like they go through the struggle, or people that, you know, felt the way I felt growing up. I want to help them. I want to better them. I want them to know that somebody is always there for you. You know, and I still feel that way, to be honest with you. But the only difference is just like now, like I said, with my work schedule, I don't have enough time to invest in other things. It's like
Mhm.
you know, like I want to. But it's still there. It's still there. And when people, you know, need a shoulder to cry on and they tell me about their life and they're going through things, I am there for them. And I try my best to make them feel encouraged and empowered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the type of person I am, and that's the person I want to be, and that's something that I instill into my kids. Now, you say you had 3 kids. I have a stepson that will be 20 next month,
Okay.
and I have a 10-year-old son. I have a soon-to-be 5-year-old son, a soon-to-be 2-year-old son, and a soon-to-be 1-year-old daughter. So
Whoa. Okay.
the the
You have hands full.
the house is crazy, and on top of that, I have 5 dogs. I mean, technically, one
Oh
dog and
goodness.
4 puppies. So it's
Uh-huh.
chaotic. It's chaotic. But you know, a lot of people ask me like, "Why do you got so many dogs?" My thing is, if you can afford it and you love dogs, you have a passion for something, why not do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I love the dogs. You're right. Like they become family, and you
Hmm.
look at them like kids, right? So I treat my dogs like I would my kids, and sometimes they eat better than me, which is crazy in itself.
Yeah.
But you know, so you can imagine it's times where it gets real crazy here, but it's okay. It's the lay of the land. It's the way of life. So I'm okay with it. So are you or have you ever been married?
I have. I've been married twice.
Oh,
What? I know. Crazy. Um, fortunately, my first ex-husband, we um we met when I was 15. We didn't get married till I was 20, but we got a divorce. We had two girls, and then we got a divorce. To
mm,
this day, though, we're still really great friends. My family gets along with him. His family gets along with me. We co-parent. He's remarried, but like I have a civil relationship with his wife, and it just he and I being able to be so close. And as far as co-parenting, it makes it so much easier. Granted, our girls are older now, but they just get so much peace knowing that they can love us the same, and it's not the whole um, your dad like back talking like talking negatively about one parent and then the other one and the kids feel like they're in the middle of that kind of stuff. So we don't have that. So I'm really glad about that. And then they also can't play us against each other because we're always on the same page. So yeah, the kids
hey,
don't really like that.
you know, that's powerful. You're the second guest I had on that said they have a great working relationship as far as co-parenting, right? And
Mhm.
you know, on that episode I had, like I said, I can't see myself doing it, right? Like it's tough. I guess because I have 3 kids by one woman, right?
Mhm.
And the other one is by a different woman, right? Like I don't talk to her. I guess that's why. And I have full custody of him, my son. I guess if she had custody, I guess I wouldn't have no choice but to find a way to co-parent because you still there? I think she might have froze a little bit. One second, let me see if I can get her reconnect. 1 second. Yeah, so it looked like she froze. So I'll get her back in. He said, I thought she was meditating. Yo, to be honest, I thought she fell asleep on me. I was like, is she sleeping? But then, like, after a couple seconds, I'm like, all right, clearly she froze. So I'm gonna try to get her back in. You know, yeah, fucking meditate. DeMarcus, you a piece of work, bro. Yeah. So anyways, as we give her a minute, let's see if she texts me back. Oh shit, I got a message from I need help. What? Sorry about this, guys. But anyways, I'm gonna text her one more time, then I'll just continue talking for a minute. Huh. All right, let me send this link real quick. Sorry guys, just bear with me. So yeah, now another guest come in as we wait. But yeah, man, the conversation was going good. So hopefully she come back, man. This is one thing, man. Like I was saying, like doing this podcast is very therapeutic and it helps me in so many different ways. Like I said, I don't get a chance to get out there. Like I might like I just hung out a couple like last week for the first time in like a couple months. You know what I mean? And it felt great, right? But it's like sometimes it's difficult when you come home and your significant other's like, oh, like I thought we was gonna spend time together, but like she want to hang out too, And I tell her sometimes if I'm off, she want to go out, she can, but she just I don't know, she chooses to be home. So for me, I'd be like, it's a new year, and like we both should try to get out there more, or not even just get out there like singular, right? Not on a singular like level, like even if it's just me and her. Like I'd rather go out to dinner or go out to a movie or something like that. Something that we're not fortunate enough to do. You know what I'm saying? Like we sometimes you just need to get out there, you have fun and live life because when you get older and you look back at life and you say, damn, I really didn't do nothing. Like, cause our kids are a handful, right? Like we have 4 kids or 5 kids and they all got different personalities. It's not easy to deal with them at times. But we do the best that we can. And it's easier when we're both home, which is, rare. Uh, if I'm home, it drives me crazy. And I'm like, how does she do this? When I'm at work, she calls me, she texts me, and I'm like, I'm at work. I can't be doing this right now. But like she's like, this is extremely difficult, which I understand. All right, hold on, she's coming back. There you go.
I'm not sure what happened. I just
Yeah, so it froze. So at first, I thought you were asleep. I was like, "Are you with me?" And
and I was
then
the same with you. I was like, hey, you're frozen.
somebody commented. It was like, "I think she's meditating." So I thought that was hilarious. But hold on, what is this? That's my wife and I are about to start traveling again. Yeah, so when you was off, I was just saying, like I was still talking. And I was like, life is hard, and and I was telling the audience that like this podcast what it means to me, right? Like how I want to do things differently this year, like travel and get out there and experience life, because I don't want to get old and look back on my life and say, I really didn't accomplish nothing. I really didn't do anything. I just took care of my kids, took care of my dogs, and that was it. Like I just work, work, work. I don't want to be that person because on my mom's side, my dad's side is different. My dad's side, they were just workaholics, and it's work, 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 and no enjoyment in life and no nothing. And I used to look at my family, my dad's side, like I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
Just work and you don't enjoy life, and then you get old and you just die. Like I don't want that. I want to enjoy life as it is, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why he said that's why him and his wife about to start traveling together, which is a great thing. When
It
you
is
can
good.
travel, it's amazing. Like I said, that's why 2 years ago I said like every year two states until I touch down on every state. Like that's my goal, and I'm motivated. You know, you get to experience
Would you be
different
traveling
cultures.
with your just your wife or with the whole family, or how would that work?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, not just me. Because
But
what
like, I
fun
think
is it
that
to?
it'd be good to travel, obviously, with your whole family because it's good. But it's like nice to travel alone with your partner every now and then too, so y'all get to
But
just
it's hard.
experience stuff
It,
together.
but it's hard when you have younger kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's when you have young kids. It's like you can't. It, it- like
I
for
know
me,
what you're
it's hard
saying
to get
because
a
I couldn't
babysitter.
ever leave my kid. Oh, see, I was those helicopter moms, so I
Right.
wouldn't leave my kids. The only two people my kids were ever with is my sister or my mom,
Right.
um, and that's it. Just
Yeah.
and it was nothing against no one that I didn't trust anybody, but I just really didn't. It was just like,
Right. Yeah. Hi, Veronica.
oh,
This is my
hi,
older brother. Like when
the
you froze,
chef.
he's like,
Hello, how you doing?
yeah.
Great, how are
I
you?
can jump in for a minute. So I was like, all right. So here he is.
How's every,
So
Awesome.
go ahead. Ask your
uh,
question.
I was gonna say, how was your day?
It's been great. It's been busy, but it's been good. Very productive.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
How
wonderful.
about yours?
Oh, great. I took off today, so
Oh, okay, even better.
yeah,
You was off.
yeah, I was off today.
Yeah. So when I mentioned earlier that he's a chef, he's actually catering for somebody that he connected with on the podcast. He's going to cater for him and his family this weekend, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, so that's a good move right there. You know, he's been blessing that. So this will be the first time he meets with him in person, first time he
Mhm.
cooked for him. So, he asked for transparency and all honesty. So yeah, I'm excited because I was like, I wish that I wasn't going to be at work because I go just to
Yeah.
support him and to meet him. Because remember, Rodney had commented before, so Rodney is who he's going to cater for.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
that's going to be a good experience. So this is what he
Mhm.
do. Whether it's through his job or he connect with people, he cater. Like he has his own catering business, and like I said, he got his own podcast. And like I said, this is the one I was telling you about. That's more spiritual. This is him.
Okay,
So speaking about spiritual, let me ask you this: are you religious? He's smiling. Are
I
you?
I am.
You
I've
are.
had I am, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm I've had my moments of doubt and where I've pushed away, like, oh, I'm not ready right now. And then I've gone through my whole, no, I believe in the earth and I just believe in this. And I just, but then when I started going through a lot of things continuously, then I
Right.
had no choice because I knew he was calling me and I was not ready. Well, he's like, okay, but things are gonna happen that you're not happy with. And so finally, when it just became too much, I was like, I have no other choice. So I just had to, give myself to him again. And I feel that I am in a lot better place mentally and physically
Right.
for myself. It's just been good.
So did you grow up in a religious household, or you did?
Yes, I grew up Catholic.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So see this thing. I can't speak for you, but for me, like my difficulty was I always tell people you can't force religion on nobody, right? And my father and everybody on my father's side of the family, they used to force it on me. They used to try to
Mm.
bribe me. And as I got older, I was like, this is criminal. Like
Yeah.
my father told me at one point, like, if you go to church for 5 weeks in a row, I'll buy you a car. And guess what? I went to church 5 weeks in a row, and I was being fake. I was in the
Make it
front
easy
row
on me.
clapping my hands. And then as soon as that 5 weeks was over, I was like, "Where's my
Mhm.
car?" And he said, "Nah, you wasn't being authentic." I'm like, "That wasn't part of the deal." So it wound up for 5 weeks turned to 16 weeks. He got me a car, and then he
Mhm.
said, "You still got to go to church." I'm like, "Nah, that wasn't part of the deal." He
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, listen, in 5 weeks you would have converted." We wasn't talking about conversion. So for me, people in the church when they talk about deceivers, I looked at my family, I looked at people that believed in God as deceivers, and for me, growing up, I was just like, you know what, I can't trust nobody that's religious, right? Because you just try to bribe me, and everybody's not the same, right? One person's crime don't justify everybody else, right? But that's how I looked at it growing up, and plus I had my own thoughts. Like a lot of things, I think the Bible has a lot of strong messages and parables and stories. But do I think that everything should be taken for face value? I do not. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, it's hard to have conversation with people that's religious because they say you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink it, right? And they
Hi,
say, no,
Allison.
they say you can preach the word, you can spread the word, but Christians will tell you, or Catholics, they say it's not our job to try to convert or try to push religion on people. But guess what? Everybody, I don't care what religious background, they they do in fact try to push it on you, and that's the thing I don't agree with. But like I said, the more fortunes I have in life, and the more people that walk in the faith that I speak to, I say, okay, maybe it's time to give that a try, because that's one thing I never tried before. And
Mhm.
lately, like I was telling you before we went on air, ever since I've tried, I've seen a lot of positive things come my way. And I wake up, sometimes I can't sleep at night because I'm like, why is this happening to me right now? And I wake up and say,
Mhm.
why is this happening to me right now? Then I say, maybe it's God. And that's why I say maybe I should give it a try. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't happening to me before and it's all of a sudden happened to me when I say I have an open mind, maybe that's what I need in my life. So I
I,
am willing and ready right now to give that a try. And if at the end of the day, if I feel like I did before, then I'm like,
mhm.
okay, I tried it. Boom.
Yeah.
You can't knock something till you try it. But I look like my brother, he's
Absolutely.
salivating over there, like he want to say something. So go ahead, bro. Go ahead, chef.
Veronica,
Yes.
I love your name. So
Thank you.
not the Veronica part, the founder of an unapologetical me. I want to know why did you pick that? I heard some of your story. I would like
Okay.
you to elaborate on that because I like that. That is real because that strikes me as a good and positive idea. So I wanted to know why you said that. Why you have that name.
Okay. I honestly, I fell in love with the word unapologetic, and it's just embracing ourselves. For instance, for myself, I've always I grew up a very specific way. My family is very, very good, but I was always like good Veronica, perfect Veronica. Like I didn't make bad choices, so I it was just these things were expected of me, and I didn't ever want to disappoint anybody or let anybody down. But I've just as reflecting on myself, I realized that what is perfect? Like I'm not perfect. If I was perfect, then I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't need God. I wouldn't need all these different things. And perfect is not a realistic expectation. And so embracing the fact that, yes, I've been married twice, or
Mm,
things like that. I think just for myself, I just, I own it. I own, yes, I've been married twice. Okay. I've been a jerk before
mm,
in my life. I've, experienced a lot of bad things in life, but it's okay. Like I'm not a victim. These things just helped me grow. These things just put me in a position to where I can find myself where I can be, because I didn't know what my God-given talent was for so long. And I remember when I got sick and when I was crying and pleading to God, show me my God-given gift. And right now, with Unapologetically Me, it's given me the platform and the ability to be who I am. I'm a talker, as mentioned, so I love to talk. I love to help people and do outreach, because that's the people I've worked with when I was working in the school districts. I worked in a couple of different school districts, but I always feel like I can help people, and I can just let them know that it's okay to make mistakes, and things happen, but that does not reflect who you are today. You could have been a total, for instance, like a playboy, whatever, back when you were younger, but if that's not who you are today, then okay, you know what? Yeah, that I own it. That's who I was, but I'm not that today. And I think just knowing and embracing what we were, it's just, it takes away the power from other people. Like, nobody can throw it in my face. Like, you used to be a jerk in high school, or you've been married twice. Yeah. Okay. I was, you're right. And like, that's not who I am right now. So I just own all that. And I think that's who I want.
Right. And you should be that way, and keep on encouraging people, keep on being inspiring. And our past is our past. That is that's how we grow. And once you acknowledge the growth, you can leave that in the back. You can leave it in the wind, and know that you've learned from your mistakes. You've learned from your past traumas, or your downfalls, and you have to keep that attitude. And because I always say, being vulnerable is how we be strong. And sometimes some people don't understand being vulnerable. It's not just about a sign of weakness. It's a sign of allowing yourself to understand that I'm gonna be vulnerable, and I'm gonna be this way so I can grow, so I can be strong. Because when the times get rough, when times and situations get rough, you're there and you're going through the thick of, the smog. You're right there, and you're saying, you know what, I'm gonna get through this. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of being, vulnerable on your situations, or or how you feel about things. And regardless of how people say and talk about you, you still stand strong, hold your head up, and you elevate through that. And that's the key to that. And that's why I said I like it. I like that, your title, because that's what we have to be. We have to be like this. Some people don't like my, my energy. Okay, but that's who I am. You got to love me or leave me. I'm going to be, I have this energy. I have this aura about me that I'm going to love. I want to show love. I want to show peace, regardless of the color of my skin. That doesn't change how I feel inside. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't change the way I move in this world and navigate into this world, because I know there's evil out there all over. So I'm just going to pour my love and affection. Sometimes in my walk, I allow God to show me how to do that, because there are sometimes people are not going to be able to receive the love and the passion that I have to give. You know what I'm saying? That's the love that Christ has in me. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the biggest thing. And I say, I love the energy that you're giving on. I ain't come over here to take over. Look, that's my brother. Listen, I love what he's doing. I love that he's engaging with people. I love the fact that he's talking, having these conversations, because guess what? It's going to change his perspective. It's not only going to change his perspective. The most important thing is heart. And that's what you want. You want like-minded people to be around you. You want people that's going to elevate your mind and talk to you and have you thinking on a different perspective. And that's why he's smiling. I love it. He don't understand, because see, I get excited. It's not that I come over here. I want people to understand this is what we supposed to do. It's not about fame. It's not about just talking. It's about having a good conversation that people that are watching are going to be engaged and going to laugh, and sometimes they're going to get into their feelings, but we want them to be educated in the realm of love, in the realm of peace and happiness. That's what we're doing. That's what he's doing. That's what I'm doing. It's about that. That's where the source is. That's where we sit here and we have this conversation, is because we want to have a conversation we don't see. Like, we never met you, so we're trying to have a conversation that we can say, you know what, now we have somebody in in Florida, in Texas, we're gonna go out there and visit. We're gonna get up together, and guess what? We building something new. Yeah,
absolutely, because absolutely. So when I do come to Texas, I'm definitely gonna text her or call her and like, hey, I'm out here, like we can interact in person. You know what I'm saying? So
and I know
I'm
a
all
lot of
for
good
it.
places. Okay, family oriented and everything. So, yeah.
My
Like,
son lives in Texas.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He lives in
yeah.
San Antonio. Now I've been to San Antonio. I heard y'all say what places. Now when we come,
See,
we
I'm not
generally
a
come.
fan of San Antonio either.
Listen, I know about
Wait, hold on,
Houston.
hold on.
Yeah.
What'd you say about San Antonio,
I'm just
Veronica?
not a fan. I'm not. I think maybe I'm a little snobby in certain ways, not intentionally, but I'm not a big fan of San Antonio. I've gone several times, but it's just, to me, I just feel like it's just so limited, and it's just, after you go a few times, you're just like, that's it. But when you come to the Dallas Fort Worth area, there's so much to
I had to
do. I
laugh because
know,
the
sorry.
comment. He said, "What?"
No, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Being that I work in New York City, I live in New Jersey. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hmm.
San Antonio. Now I was driving in San Antonio all over the place, right? San
Yeah.
Antonio to me is more laid back
Mm.
because I'm from a city. I work in a
Yeah.
city that's constantly moving. They were more laid back than anything. I didn't
Yeah.
get a chance to go to Houston, and I didn't get a chance to go to Dallas because Dallas is further down.
Hmm.
And Houston is closer, but it's the
Yeah.
traffic that will, get you bend up. To go down there, it might be good, but when you coming back, it's like a 2-hour drive. So
Yeah.
I had to get prepared for that. So next time we're going to come this year, me and my wife, we're coming
Uh-huh.
down there again, and I think we're going to stay in Houston, and we're just going to
Hmm.
travel to San Antonio to see my
She don't
son.
like she don't like Houston though. She don't like
No,
Houston.
I
No, yeah,
mean,
just come this way.
with it. Now listen, Veronica. I'm the guy. I'm the guy who's going to travel a lot because I love football. So I
Okay.
will be hit touchdown in Dallas, Texas, because
Hmm.
my dad's team. So I'll be going down there as well too in 2025. I'll be down there in both. This time I'm coming this year. Last year I was
Yeah.
supposed to go, and I
Mhm.
I said I was coming, but I didn't. I'm coming this year. I'm gonna make everything. I make sure my wife good, my daughter's good, and I'll make sure they all straight, and then I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying that now because I didn't do it. I didn't do that in 24. I was like, oh, I'm going here, and I didn't implement
You
them
know,
in the plan.
I think that was everybody's 24, because I didn't travel at all in 2024
Yeah.
either,
Me
at
either.
all. And I'm like,
That's
what?
weird.
Because my dad, my sister, and my parents are divorced, and they've only been divorced maybe 8-9 years, but my parents are like the good divorced. They just don't live together, but they still have a great relationship. We do holidays at my dad's house, and my kids' birthday parties or gatherings, like dinners and all that. We do it as a family. We do everything as a family. So yeah, but my dad, my sister, and I
Oh,
take
oh.
a trip together every year. So
Now, have you ever been to New York?
I have. I love
Okay.
New
Oh,
York. Yes.
okay. All right.
Yeah. And see,
Okay.
my daughter, the middle one, she wanted to move to New York because she wants to go to school to be an attorney. And I'm not ready to let her go because she's very young. I mean, she'll be graduating next year, right? And I'm like, oh no. So we're going to let her live in Denton I don't know if you're familiar with Denton, but it's a big college town here in Texas. They have a few colleges here. But we told her she can go to Denton for like a year or two, then transfer to Austin because she wanted to move to Austin. It was Austin or New York. And then after she gets her, she'll get her associates in
Right.
Denton, her bachelor's in New York, in Austin. And then we're like, then you can move to New York. But
All right.
baby steps.
I want to encourage you because I'm gonna tell you why I say that. I want to encourage you. If that's what her heart's desire, I think you should do that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Watch this, right? Just
Okay.
just an encouragement. Now, my
Okay.
son, my
Mhm.
son, he goes to college, and he goes to college 6 hours away. It's in West Virginia, right? So it's 6 hours away from us.
Mhm.
Now he's doing excellent in school. So what he did is he did an internship in California, totally
Okay.
different from New
Yeah.
Jersey. He
Oh
went
yeah, the
over there,
atmosphere, everything. Mhm.
totally different, right? He went over there and excelled. And so they want him to come back. So now, the fire and everything happened over there. Before this even happened, they said, okay, you have two options, which way you want to go. So one was upstate New York, which is closer to us, right? Or
Right.
I think the other one was back in West Virginia. So why would you want to go down back to West Virginia and your school's down there? And so now he'll be back in upstate New York City. So the reason I said that to you is that, yes, he was 18 years old. And so I was like, nah, I don't think he should go. It's different because we've been living in Jersey all life. It's a different lifestyle. And he's young. No.
Yeah.
If I see, it seems like you have done a great job with your kids, because I heard great things when you're talking about them. You know what I'm saying? So I know that she's going to excel. You know what I'm saying? And I know as a mom, I'm a dad, you a mom, so I know moms, it's hard to let them go. My wife, that was my baby, that was the baby son. So my wife was like, no, I don't. I said, babe, listen, God's got him, and trust, and you got to trust in God. And look, at first it was tough for her. She was like, oh no, I don't want my baby to go. I said, babe, he's growing. He's a grown man. He's gonna be all right. Look at it. Look what he's doing. Went down to school, started a fraternity. On the track team, is a track star. That's a great. Like I said, look what he's doing. He's going to excel. He's going to be great. And I know you did a great job. You as we talking and I'm talking to you, you seem like a great mother. So she's gonna be good. She's gonna be listen.
Yeah.
You raised her great. So know that you raised her great, and she's gonna make the best decisions. Look,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, mothers are great. It's a lot of mothers that struggle, but at the end of the day, I feel like all women, all mothers have greatness in them. Sometimes it just takes somebody to bring that out of them. You know what I'm saying? But let's change the gears a little bit, right?
Okay.
So earlier I was like, I'm gonna circle back to the whole cancer thing, right? So I want to know a little bit more about that. So I guess the question I'm gonna ask is, when were you diagnosed, right? And what is your current diagnosis as far as that?
I was diagnosed in 2022.
Okay.
And right now I'm in remission. So yay. Yeah. But I'm taking medication still. I'll be on medication for I have 3 more years of medication and infusions. But then I feel good. It was mentally exhausting because, as I mentioned, I'm 3rd generation. I don't know if you knew that. My grandmother battled breast cancer for 22 years on and off. And she passed away in 2020 because it had unfortunately just spread everywhere. And then in 2 weeks before my grandmother passed, my mom got her diagnosis.
Oh, wow. That's powerful.
Yeah. So then when my mom finished her treatments, then I got my diagnosis.
Wow. That's tough. I couldn't imagine. Yeah, I couldn't imagine. Yeah. So how did you feel when you was first diagnosed?
Honestly, I felt angry, really angry, because this is very selfish and I don't wish it on anybody in my family or anybody, but I told my mom, out of all your sisters, it had to be you. Why you? And not that I was wanting it to be one of her other sisters, but she has 5. There's 5 of them, and I'm like, out of all of them, it had to be you. Then when I got my diagnosis, there's so many of us, of the cousins. And I'm like, out of all the cousins, it had to be me. And my sister was actually, she had a lump. And so she had to have a lumpectomy. Fortunately, hers is benign. And she had been diagnosed she had her surgery in July. I got my diagnosis in August. So it was literally my mother, my sister, and myself. And so I just felt really angry. I felt really, really angry because I had just lost my grandmother. I was going through my grieving. Then my mom had gotten sick. And so I'm like trying to hold it together. Then I get my diagnosis. So I just, and remember when I had mentioned earlier that God kept calling me, but I just kept, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Well, he just kept, like, these things kept happening. And things just, for a little while got worse because I was diagnosed with cervical cancer in 2023.
Well, you said cervical, so is breast cancer and cervical?
Yeah, I got breast cancer in 2022, and then 2023 I had cervical cancer, and so I was really, like I said, mad and upset, and so I was very emotional, and it was just very hard for me. So then, I don't know, I started working on myself and praying more and working on my relationship with God, and I'm in remission right now, and I'm in a lot better place mentally too, because it was really hard going from being completely independent to having to have your kids help you shower, or your sister having to help you shower, or having to, when you have drains and all these different things, like having to help you with that kind of stuff. It's just I developed neuropathy from one of my surgeries, and sometimes people just get it in like one limb or something. I developed it in all of my limbs. So my arms, my legs, and sometimes my neck, so it was really hard dealing with all of that. Just thinking, I'm 44 now, but at that time I was 42. I had just turned 42. I got my diagnosis 3 days after my 42nd birthday. And so I was just very selfish in the sense that I was like, I'm not going to lose my hair. I have to, get my, have a double mastectomy. Like you had to get a double mastectomy. So that was really tough. And you just go through a lot because your body is changing, your moods change. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when you are diagnosed with cancer, and you have to start taking medications, because prior to this, I was very natural and holistic and everything was natural. Well, then I have to go to start taking these medications, and they don't make you feel well. You get sick, and then you're forced into menopause, So then it's like, okay, I'm dealing with this because of my moods and everything like this, my sickness, and then I'm forced into this menopause. So, and I can't take anything hormonal. So then you aren't balanced out, and sometimes people, get frustrated with you for being different, you're not the same. And it's like, I realize that, but I can't help it. Like, this is the new me. And I think that's what a lot of people had to realize, that I'm no longer the old Veronica. I'm this Veronica. And a lot of things, as I mentioned, I don't like to argue or anything. So in a lot of things, I'm just like, okay, well, you don't have to be in, I don't have to wish you ill will or anything like that. We just, maybe it's best if we go different directions in, even in anything, relationships, friendships, things like that.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because, as individuals, right? Like, we should only allow people, like-minded and positive people, into our lives, right? If they can't see our struggle or see the pain or whatever we're going through, if they can't accept that we need to control, alt, delete them out of our lives, right? Like, it's all positivity. I think the world will be at peace. The world will be at a better place if we stop criticizing, if we stop, like, basically the world needs to have more empathy, right? We need to see things through a different lens and stop being narrow-minded, right? Like, once we love each other as an individual, love each other, whether it be friends or family, as an equal, that's when the world will be at a better place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If somebody's sick or somebody's going through something and people are like, oh, well, I ain't got time for that, then that's not the right person for you, right? And that's the real cancer in life, right?
Right.
So
It teaches you a lot, though.
Say it again.
I said, when you're sick, it teaches you a lot, because I used to have tons of friends. Like, I had my groups of people that I go out with, or groups that I go to brunch with, or I just had a bunch of different friend groups. And when I got sick, this is including family too, you see who checks in on you and who doesn't.
Right.
And
Right.
so it just kind of made me appreciate those that are in my circle so much more. Like I have a few different core groups of friends that they're not necessarily friends, but they're like my friends, if that makes sense. So I have different friends groups, and they're my core friends. They check on me. We are still close, and we're there for each other, not only in the good times. And we don't have to talk every day, but we are there for each other. And those are the friendships that I've learned that I have to just feed into, and I have to appreciate more. And those are the people that I gravitate towards, just people who are genuine and like we just want to be in each other's lives, in the sense that there's no judgment, there's no anything.
Right. And like I said, that's a powerful thing. And I'm glad that I would say I think that you have a better approach than I would have, because for me, the people that I want in my life, right, that may not be the right fit for my lifestyle, right? Like, but I want them to be there, and they're not supportive, right? Like, I lash out. I tend to get mad, right? Like for you to say, it's easy for you to be like, well, if you don't understand this, and like maybe we're not fit. That is the attitude, and that's the positivity that a lot of people need. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I commend you for that. Let me so speaking on the topic, right? Let me ask you this: who, what, and where did you go to for guidance or support, or like, when you was dealing with the whole diagnosis?
I joined a couple of support groups, and I used my family a lot. And I have actually my mom, because she's gone through the same diagnosis and everything, and so I used her. And then I have like an extra mom. She's a bonus mom. Her name she's the kids Gigi, but she would just finish her third. She was diagnosed 3 different times with breast cancer, and so she just finished her last treatments recently for her third time being diagnosed. And so I would go to them a lot, because they comforted me in a way that they understood where I was coming from. And so it was easier for me, if that makes sense, going to people who I knew loved me and supported me, but also could understand my emotions and encouraged me.
The Seeking Knowledge podcast, his name is DeMarcus. He says, this has been an amazing, inspirational, emotional conversation, but I'm loving it, right? Like, so, I shout out to him, and I appreciate you, bro, for tuning in, so yeah, like listen, I couldn't imagine being not diagnosed with cancer or anything that could be life altering. I can't imagine, right? And what I'm going to say, it just speaks volumes of the person I am. Like, I have a lot of empathy, right? And like a lot of people, when I was growing up, they're like, oh, you're being soft, or you being woman. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Like, I have compassion, not only for myself and my family, but people that's around me, and just people in general. Like, sometimes I turn on the news and I hear a story, and I'm like, dang. Sometimes I shed a tear. Some people say, well, you don't know that person, why are you shedding a tear? It's just who I am. And I think a lot of it comes from, like I said, the broken home syndrome, like just growing up feeling like I should have this love, or I should have this appreciation, or I should be on this pedestal, and I wasn't getting it. So I think a lot of it comes from that. But like at the end of the day, listen, I commend you for being strong. It's a lot of people that give up, right? And the fact that you have not given up, I commend you, and I'm proud of you for that. You know what I'm saying?
I want to say something. I didn't
Go
even
ahead.
hear. Look, Veronica, I want you to know this, right? Now, I didn't hear none of your beginning of your story, so I don't know. I just heard you right now, and yes, I am touched by it. But watch this. Let me show you. Listen, everybody might think this weird, but I'm gonna show you how God works. Now, like I said, when you said your story, did y'all
Mhm.
notice the shirt I got on? Did you
Okay,
notice?
it says believe.
Hold up, hold on.
Believe.
Let me show you. Look, let me let you see.
Believe,
Believe,
inspire,
inspire, impact.
impact.
And what's that
Yeah,
for? What's that for?
you tell
It's
us.
for
You.
No,
yeah.
no, no. Hold on. I'm going to show you. Look,
I
what's at the bottom?
breast
Oh,
cancer.
okay. Breast cancer. That's
That's
interesting, bro.
I,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
a
good.
supporter. Nobody in my family has that I know
Mhm.
has died from it.
Right.
But because that right there, that I don't want to say. I want to say this. I was going to say something else. That sickness,
Mhm.
listen, it can change your whole world. And so
Right.
I'm a big supporter on breast cancer awareness. So I haven't done the walk yet. I got to
Yeah.
get prepared for that. But me and my wife, we are big supporters in that. And so just to hear your story, and that's why King was saying it's so emotional, because guess what? When you hear somebody recovering from
Mhm.
that, it can change your world. And see, for you, not only did it change your world, God said, listen, he wants something great. You already have, listen, I heard you say you a home teacher, homeschooling,
Mhm.
Yep.
you teach special ed. Listen, that's a talent, that's a gift. Everybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
God has given you a gift, and you have utilized that gift. But in the midst of your storm, you have came out, and guess what? Now you can elevate even more. Now you're going to be able to cultivate that gift that God has given you, and you're going to change. You're going to change a lot of people in this world. You're going to change a lot of young kids, even in that. And you have a heart and you have a desire to do that. And guess what? And see, sometimes we don't understand. That's what God wants from us, not in the midst of we can't see it with the natural eye. And that's where it becomes spiritual, because guess what? It's something that God wants to use. And guess what? You're doing everything that you're supposed to do. And so God will be able to use you the way he wants to use you. You know what I'm saying? And you're doing it
Right.
willingly. You're not doing it because you're forced.
Well,
You're doing it willingly.
he kind of had to humble me. I'm gonna be honest for a little
That's
while
it.
in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yes.
Yes,
Listen.
I had a big
Yeah.
humbling
Yes.
experience. But honestly, I needed that because that wasn't who I was raised to be. And then I kind of, became a brat, I guess. And I had to just do a lot of self-reflection because I knew I wasn't raised like that. To be, this materialistic brat. And so I had to have some humbling. But I'm
You say
really in a good
you
place.
you was materialistic. What do you mean by that?
Um, for a while, I just needed the people, not necessarily all my core friends, but I would only date, or I surrounded myself with people who had the lifestyle that I wanted, or I had, or they were in the mix of achieving it. Like, I didn't want to be around people who just weren't on my level.
Mm.
See, isn't that snobby?
I mean, I'm not going. So, all right. So, when you say not on your level, what is your level? Because
Right now, I told
that's
you, let me
entertaining.
tell you, I was so humbled when I lost everything. Okay, so this is God humbling me. When I got so sick, I couldn't take care of myself.
Right.
And I lived far away from my parents, like not far, but like an hour roughly from my parents. So I had to move in with my dad because he has a big house, and we all, even though we would just go visit, we all have our own rooms. But when I got sick, I had to move over there. So I could be closer to my parents so they can help me out. My mom helped care for me, and my dad had to help me with taking me to my infusions, taking me to my doctor's appointments. My sister was with me through my surgeries. But I had to have so much help. And I was like, are you kidding me? I go from being completely independent, having my own place, having my own everything, to having to move back home with my parents or with my dad, and not being able to work because I was in such a high point in my real estate. I was working with some, big commercial developments, and then I had to stop everything because I was going through surgeries. I was having appointments every day. If not, I was having surgeries, appointments 3 times a day with, all these doctors and specialists. And I didn't tell you this, but I have it's a benign tumor on my kidney. But so it's like, that's 3 oncologists that I have to see, so it's like, it was just so much that I couldn't just do it all by myself. And then with some of my medication, it caused me to be very forgetful. So it just caused all this like plethora of things. So then during that time, obviously I had my humbling experience. So that, I was really embarrassed at first, but then I'm like, you know what? I couldn't have taken care of myself and taken care of my kids. And it's funny because my dad is a big guy. Okay. He's like 6'4", 6'5", and he's just this big guy, but he knows when I was having like a bad day or I was just not in a good place. He'd be like, do I need to make you your tea? And he'd make me my lavender tea, So it was good. It was good. And it's something that I needed.
Right. And that's crazy because like you said, you never told me about the whole tumor thing. That's an extra dimension. That's another, like, my hat's off to you. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said before, you are strong. Like you're dealing with this. You dealt with these things, and you're still pushing, right? And like I said, a lot of people give up, and you haven't, and that's what makes you strong. And I commend you for that. And I want you to keep doing that.
Thank you. But like I said, I have my kids are watching me, and yes, but my kids watched me, and then I noticed that when I got sick, my girls took it hard, but especially my son, who is the youngest. He became extremely attached to me, and he is from my second marriage. So my ex-husband lost his rights to my son. So he really just has myself and my family. And the thought of him possibly losing me was a lot for him, that he developed this big attachment to me. So it was hard for him. And even to now, if he talks about it, he gets kind of a little emotional.
So, okay. So we talked about your first marriage. We never really talked about the second. So let's talk about a little bit both of them real quick. Like, so what happened in the first marriage that you guys are not together? And then after that, the second one.
Okay. Well, it's so dumb because we got married so young. We didn't even know who we were, if that makes sense. We just grew into different people. Right. Yeah. And that's essentially the only reason. It was not, infidelity or beating. Like, it was nothing like that. It was just, we just outgrew each other.
Right. What about the second marriage?
That one. Well, okay, y'all can see me, right? So I'm just going to put this out there for those who don't know. I've never been in a fight in my life, but when they say, your fight or flight kick in when you're getting beat up, mine was not fight back. My ex was abusive. Physically.
That's never a good thing, but okay, go ahead.
It's not. And it was just the whole, when you see it in movies like this, the isolation from work, like I wasn't allowed to work. I wasn't allowed to have friends, and he isolated me from my family. And I had to hide all that because I know my dad, and he's very protective of us. And I didn't want to put that on him because it was my mistake, if that makes sense. And he kept promising, I'll get better. This is the last time. And it didn't happen. And I remember one time I told his mom that he hit me, and if he ever did it again, I was going to leave him. And her response to me was, "Oh, Mija, what did you do to him?" And I was like, wow, okay. So I guess to her, this is okay, but that's not how I was raised. So yeah, so
Right.
it just got to be too much. That one day I just packed a bag and I left. Like literally, I
I
had
got,
my kids and we just left with one bag.
I got you. And listen, I'm gonna say, listen, a man should never go to those extremes. You know what I'm saying? And I know that people have mental illnesses, or they have they struggle coping with their own demons.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, so sometimes in life it's about, when you get in a relationship, it's about finding somebody that's equally yoked, somebody that's like,
I
you
love that.
understand them, they understand you, right? Like when you get in a relationship based off of certain characteristics, like some people get in a relationship like, oh, he looks good or she looks good. And they get in a relationship, but they don't really get to know them. I think that's
Right.
where people really go wrong, right? Like when you get to know that person, that's why they say the pecking order should be like, you be friends first before you get in a relationship, right? Because if you're not friends first, you jump straight into a relationship. Well, you're bound to complications, right? So like the friendship aspect is very vital. You know,
Mm-hmm.
once you get to know somebody and you get in a relationship with somebody, then you know their flaws, they know your flaws, and it's like it's either you accept that person for who they are 100%, or you don't. And then once you say I do, right, I accept them, now it's on you to balance that person, right? it's
Right.
it's it's it's, it's on you to correct the flaws, or try to uplift that person, right? Like, so yeah, a lot of times people jump in a relationship with the wrong reasons, and they get in a relationship and they see these flaws that they knew that was existed before they got in a relationship, but they ignored it because of these other positives that they enjoyed or loved, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so that means they, at the end of the day, they got to take a step back and reflect and say, I'm the problem. I allowed this, right? Like somebody told me, matter of fact, nobody told me. It was a podcast I was just listening to. Matter of fact, Chef Dennis, he put this he had a podcast yesterday and he played this clip. So I went, and instead of listening to the clip, I wanted to listen to the whole thing. So I was at work yesterday and I listened to the whole thing. It was about whether marriage was beneficial to men or not, right? Like, so it's two people having a debate. And I agree with both parties. Now, the one party, he made it all about himself, and I'm like, yeah, he's not trying to really have a conversation. He want the spotlight on himself, right? But that's neither here nor there. The thing is, one thing he said that I loved was, anything that went wrong in any one of my relationships, I gotta own that because I chose that woman. I cannot blame her. I can't talk ill will about that woman because at the end of the day, I chose that woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that goes back to what I was saying. If you choose somebody to be in a relationship with, you should know that person. So if you know somebody has an anger issue and you decide to be with them and they lash out on you, I'm not saying it's right, but it's like you chose that person, right? So you should have had that understanding that that's who they were.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, are you going to try to fix that? Right, because that's being with that person, him or her, for the right
Mm-hmm.
reasons, right? If you want them for the wrong reasons, you might look at it like, oh, his appearance is there, but hey, he got an anger issue. Like, so it's about correction, right? So being in a relationship
Right.
or a marriage is about correction. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, to that, what do any thoughts on that?
No, I agree because to each their own, and I'm not judging or anything, but I know for myself, I saw some of those signs because
Mm,
he wanted to do everything so quickly, and I didn't question it really, but my whole family was not on board. They're like, "This is going way too fast," and I'm like, "No, it's fine." But then when I was seeing those things, I would just kind of It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. I can fix him. I've worked with people with, I've worked in a behavior unit. I've worked with special, like I can fix him. And after so long, I realized, you know what? I can't fix him. And I finally had to leave when things just started escalating to where I was being put in more like serious or dangerous situations. So I did. And that's what I was talking about. For instance, in my Apologetically Me is me accepting my part in that. I can't just be like, he was a terrible, awful monster. Because you're right, he was that. But like you said, I chose that. I was the one who thought I could fix him. So I'm accepting that. I'm accepting the fact that I chose him. I experienced this situation. But because of that, I'm aware now of a lot of signs for when I see somebody going through that. I am able to now talk to people and empathize with them, because before I was very
naive
in the sense, because I was just like, that's so stupid, leave him, it's not a big deal, like just leave him. But then now it's like, it's not that easy. You say you're going to leave like 5 different times and you don't, so, but then now I feel like I'm a lot more empathetic in the sense that I can relate to that. And I'm just wiser, I think, having experienced a lot of these things, because I was raised very sheltered and very naive, and I wasn't ready at all for the real world.
So what one thing I'm gonna say is, Chef got to, he about to head out because he got to take care of the wife and all that things.
Yes, I do. I would listen. I just want to say a few words before I get out of here. Des, I'm proud of you. Keep up the good work. And Veronica, you keep up the good work and keep being blessed. And listen, keep letting God use you. That's what you got to do. Keep letting him use you, okay? And you have a good evening. I'm out of here, guys. Y'all guys be blessed.
Bye.
All right. Bye. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
So, that kind of threw me off a little bit. What you remember the last thing you said? Because there's something I want to touch on when you just said.
Where I said I just own my mistakes, in the sense that I own all of it. That was my part.
Right. So that's a lot. Like, that's a big step in life. A lot of people are not willing. A lot of people are complacent, and being complacent is not a good thing. It's never a good thing. Like, a lot of people think that it's a cutoff point for learning, but it's not. From a newborn to 100 or infinity, however long you last on this earth, you're never complete as far as learning. Like you can learn every day. Like, even me, like, it's certain things that, like, I'm like, I like, not to sound cruel, but like I tell people all the time, a smart person can learn from a dummy, and a dummy can learn a lot from somebody that's smart. Right? That's called growth, right? It's called development. And it's like nobody has all the answers, and that's what it comes down to. So we need, as a culture, as people, we need to embrace everybody. We need to uplift people, right? Like, I'm not gonna get into politics, but like, I'm not a Trumper. I am against the whole "Make America Great," because me being a black man, I feel like, when was America ever great? When people say that, the first thing I think of is racism, prejudice. Are you saying that America's great when white people rule? I just don't know. So I'm not gonna get into all that. But like, my thing is, if we all look at each other equally, the world will be in a better place. And that's honestly how I feel. Like, no matter what ethnicity, what culture, what color, if you look at each other as equals and you uplift that person, the world will be great. Until then, the world will never be great.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how I just don't understand. Like, it's so many stigmas, there's so many stereotypes for no reason.
Right.
And one thing I often tell people is this, me being a black man, the one thing I learned is white people when I look at them, like, why are they so successful, or why are they so happy? White people are carefree. They just they don't have a care in the world. They live life as it's thrown to them. You know, like you can have no rhythm and be on a dance floor, and so you having the best day of your life. But
Mhm.
now let's circle back to black culture. If a black person can't dance and they on the dance floor and they acting like that and they just dancing trying to enjoy themselves, they get criticized.
Mhm.
Right? Like me, I got
Right.
3 left feet. I can't dance. So the only way you'll see me on the dance floor is if I had a couple of drinks in me. People tell me you know black because you can't dance. I'm like, how? Last time I checked, I was a person of color. But this is what we have to deal with. But like white people, they ain't got to deal with it. Like they're carefree. They're so jolly. And it's you know what kills me when black people say, I wish I can trade places with the white man. Like, what do you mean you wish? You can, you choose not to. If
Mhm.
if you saying they're carefree, but you choose not to be carefree, that's don't stop putting a color on it. Stop saying I wish I could trade places because you can be that person. You just refuse because you're worried about how the next man gonna look at you. And that's one
Yeah.
thing I said I can no longer do. I don't
Mhm.
care. So people say what they want about me, but my thing is this: if I ain't gotta lay with you, if I ain't gotta sleep with you, if I ain't gotta live with you, what you say doesn't mean nothing. Right? Like because
Right.
I don't have to deal with you past today.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do me. It's like people tell me, "Oh, you silly, you goofy," and I tell people to this day, I'm like, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't,
Yeah.
because now I'm trying to. So you live and you learn, right? Like, so I've lived and I've learned certain things. I have to be who I am. I have to stop worrying about how people are going to view me and the view and worry about how I view myself. If I
Mhm.
say I'm a caring, compassionate, passionate person that loves the world, love people, and want to uplift people and want to make people better, then that's my focal point. I can't worry about how this person gonna look at me. No, I can't do that. So that's who I am now. If somebody say anything negative about me, okay, control alt delete. I ain't gotta deal with you. You're gone. But the
Right.
people that's on the same wavelength, the people that function at a high frequency as I feel like I do, those are the people I embrace. And you know, that's that.
No,
You
but
know what I
that's
mean?
how it should be. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's how you know. But I feel like eventually the world will get there. But you know, probably not where I'm living. But it's I feel like it's been progression because before I was alive, there's been progressions,
Mhm.
right? And it's crazy because my
It's
family was like,
slow.
my what you said slow,
Yeah, it's a gradual thing. Yeah.
and that's the thing about life. Like you got to crawl before you walk. So I'm
Mhm.
not. I don't wake up with expectations the world gonna change at a flip of a coin. Like no, I know eventually it'll get there, and then I swear I deeply feel like the world will be at peace. It'll be better. Like the one thing you know when the world when we live in a world where there's no prejudice, no racism, that's great. That's what's making the world great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you go in any room and you just interact, right? Like you just socialize and you don't just group up with people that of your color. Like it's just every so life is about vibrations. If everybody is on the same vibration, now y'all congruent, y'all cohesive, and it's like let's just enjoy life. You
Mhm.
can learn a lot from different ethnicities and different cultures. Like you say, you're a foodie. I'm a foodie. Could you imagine just saying like, well, like I'm from African descent or something. I'm only gonna eat African food, and I can no, I like Mexican food. I like Italian
Mhm.
food. I like German food. I like everything. So it's about being inclusive and diverse, and that's truly living. Once you get into that space, that's truly living. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
No, I agree.
So so you said you had 3 kids, right?
Mhm.
So how
Yes.
did you choose to share your thoughts to your children or your experience or when you got diagnosed? How did you break that down to your kids? What was your experience with that?
It was, in a sense, it was a little easier because of my family history. So they knew of the disease,
Mm,
they were familiar with it. But telling them I know how close we are, I knew it was going to affect them, and that was the hardest part, I think. Just seeing my kids be on these emotional roller coasters, and
Mm,
just seeing them be emotional and scared that I wasn't going to
mm,
make it. That was hard. And, every time I had to have another surgery, or I couldn't walk, or, I couldn't function for whatever reason, then they would get really scared. So it was ongoing for a while. That was hard. But I remember I didn't tell them the way I had anticipated. It was just the day that the doctor called me, and he said, I have your results. You do have cancer. And so when he called me, I was at the beach with my kids, and
mm.
I knew I was going to be getting a call that day. So I had separated myself. And then when he called me to tell me, I just couldn't contain my emotions, and I was crying, not sob like hysterical or anything, but like the tears were coming. And I remember just being both sad and angry at the same time, and thinking, how is this going to change everything? And do
Mm.
I have all my, and then having to, when the kids came back to me and they were like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. And my whole family knows I'm a terrible liar. So they're like, something is wrong. And
Right.
um, yeah, I mean, I just told him, I was like, well, my results came back, but it's okay. It's early. I didn't know anything, right? So I'm just like comforting them. And that ride, they were just upset, quiet, crying the whole time. And so that was hard. And then when, you have to get your affairs in order, that kind of stuff, it was just hard for
Mm.
everybody.
Listen, like I said, this is not with me not having to going through it. Like it's for me, it's touching. Like I could feel the struggles, I could feel the pain. And if I was in that space, I don't know how I would deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And I honestly, I don't know if I would be as strong as you are right now. Like I'm not sure of that. And that's the thing. That's why, like I said, when I do this podcast and I hear people's stories, and I love how people can overcome something. That makes me feel empowered. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like next week I have a guest on, that struggle with addiction. I
Right.
never done drugs or had to go to AA, NA, none of that.
Right.
But, when he was telling me earlier, like, he thought about killing himself multiple times a week. I can't relate, but I can feel that pain, that struggle,
Hmm.
because I went through a different struggle, right? And this thing is so I never believed in mental illness until like last year, and I'm like, mental illness is real because it's a lot of things in my life I still struggle to this day with coping, right? So it's like if I still struggle with coping with it, right? Like people that have addiction or that's sick or have cancer or th- they go through the same struggle. It might be two different things, but it's
Hmm.
the same if you really break it down. It's
Right.
about how, like, dealing with what you have or what you're diagnosed with, and it's like what you do from there. That's what's
Hmm.
most important, right? Like, not giving up is very important. And a lot of people do give up. A lot of people do commit suicide. It's a high percentage of suicide rates in the world. I just looked this up like a week ago, and I'm like,
Hmm.
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So the people that don't succumb to that, I commend them, and I try to talk to them like, listen, you are strong. I don't care if you have a moment of weakness. You are strong because you are still here. You know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um. So okay. What was your biggest parenting challenges, right, during cancer or in your treatments and going into like your survivorship? Like, what was the biggest challenges you faced with parenting?
Not being able to take care of my kids, because for a while
Mm,
my parents and my sister had to take care of me. So my 3 kids went to go stay with my ex-husband, my first ex-husband, because he has a good relationship with my son as well. So they went and stayed with him. And it was hard because to me, being separated from my kids was like losing a limb. I know it sounds silly, but I'm so attached to my children.
No, I get it. You're a mother. And listen, and not to cut you off, but like, listen, when I say you're a mother, right? That's what society, that's what men, like we expect those things. But I'm a father. Before I was a father, like I was like, that's a woman thing. But no, it's to the men that's really trying to be there for their kids. It's the same thing. Like I don't want to be away from my kids either. When I'm at work, I long and I can't wait to be with them. But the flip side is this: when I come home and they drive me crazy, I'm like, I need to go back to work. But at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so that was the hardest thing for me. Just not having my kids all the time. I'd go sometimes like a week, and then I'd see them on the weekends because they had, they were still doing school, even though it was homeschool. They, and I couldn't have people around me all the time because I couldn't risk getting sick. And I, for a while, was sleeping all the time. So.
Yeah, and I know that had to be scary too. You say you slept a lot. I know it had to be scary. I couldn't imagine I sleep myself and not having people close to me, right? Especially sleeping like that would be something that would trouble me, and it would play a lot of my mind. Like for instance, like when 2020 came, and I didn't believe in the whole COVID thing and all this, but I got COVID and I cried for like 2 hours because I was tired, but I didn't want to go to sleep because I was like, oh, I don't feel right, and I don't want this to be the last day I live. You know what I'm saying? And I want to fall asleep because you can't fight it. And I woke up in the morning and I said, thank God. And here I am saying I'm not religious, but I was like, thank God, I'm still here. But I was afraid because I had heart palpitations and I felt like I was going to collapse every 2 seconds. And I was scared, right? And I didn't. The thing is, I try to distance myself from people, but no, that's not a good thing. So for you to say like, your kids wasn't there, you couldn't risk, them getting sick or you getting sicker. Like I know that had to be hard for you because in a time of need, we all need somebody, right? That's why it's called a time of need. So like, you wasn't feeling well, you should have had that person right beside you. You know what I mean? So do you have any words of wisdom for young adults that's going through cancer or maybe a cancer survivor? Do you have any words of encouragement or any words of advice?
I think just embrace the changes that come with you, because that we just have to. We change in so many different ways, and I think that a lot of them aren't pretty. But this is the new us, and we have to just embrace it. Embrace the new people we've become, the new people we've been allowed to be. Because the old version of ourselves is no longer here. And no matter how much we cry and we plead and wish that we were that old person, that's no longer who we are. We're more aware of things. And I think that the good thing though is we've been allowed to have an advantage that although everybody's diagnosis is different. I think that when you hear you have cancer, it's just like you think it's a death sentence, and it's not always. But being able to see life from this perspective, it's just, you just have to live your life. You just have to embrace the fact that you're so lucky to still be here. So you just have to embrace everything and be unapologetic about your life.
There you go. Now, 2 things I want to say before we close out is One is speaking about your podcast, right? Do you have a time frame when you think you're going to start it, or you just still trying to figure
Um,
all that
I am giving myself till the end of this month to at least have at least one episode down by the end of the month.
out? Okay, well, that's a start. Listen, a lot of people fail at planning, right? So the first step of anything in life is to have a plan, right? If you don't plan for
Hmm.
something, then you plan to fail, right? It's cliche, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
You have to have a plan in motion, and right once you have a plan, then now you got something to look forward to. You have something to strive for. So I look forward to it. Like it's crazy because before we had this episode, I went to your Facebook. I'm like, oh, did she
Uh-huh.
start it? Did she die? So like, yeah, it's something I'm looking forward to, and I support. I'm a big supporter of people that's trying to do something in their life, right? So once you start, I am there. I will be there for your first episode and everything.
Oh, I
So
appreciate that. I do. I do really appreciate that.
that's good, good. And I forgot what the second thing was, to be honest with you. But I mean, whether it comes to me tonight or another night, it's all good. So um, it's been a pleasure having you on. Right. I really enjoyed you. I think the conversation was really really great. And I plan on having you on other episodes, and you're more than welcome. So, I would say let's just stay in touch and keep growing, right? Like when you start yours, if you want me on, I'm here for you. All right.
Perfect. I love that. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
And no problem. So we're going to conclude today's episode. But like I said, take care of yourself and keep being you, and be strong and be happy and all that, and keep encouraging people. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.
Bye bye.